Hello, it's General Easy. Well, that's been crazy, huh? That's been crazy, but we know better. We know better. We know it's just a distraction. We know what they really want. So we're just here watching them, trying to salvage whatever they can. It's interesting, actually. It's interesting and spectacular at the same time to see and to behold. You know, like sheesh. Like this year is crazy. What? Anyway, you know, I'm tapped in, you know. I'm tapped in, right? I see how everything is going and like people are beginning to ask the questions. People are beginning to ask questions. And that's a big problem. Right? That's a big problem, right? Because people are asking questions of how everything works and how everything is. Then they want answers. And when they look to government for answers, they don't know neither. Genuinely. They might have some speculations, they might have things they might have heard under the table, but that doesn't prove none. So the entirety of society is dumbfounded as I'm speaking. Okay? Now, people over there in Babylon are still living that delusion, right? They still believe in the supposed, I don't know, deep state or whatever. Yeah? That's their thing, right? Here in Africa, we are more open. We know that no, it's not about race, it's not about none. It's about if you are one of them and if you're not. To us, it's quite simple, right? But the Western world, the world outside Africa needs to understand this. You are part of an intensive programming and you need to detox. Okay, you need to detox by first having an African perspective on things and then having a spiritual perspective on things. Then things will start, the murky water will start to make sense, right? So, there is tobacco, cannabis, and alcohol, right? These are like, if used in moderation, are safe. But well, there is a new thing, called Valium, and it's like, Valium is like a double-edged sword, It's like, if people have depression, sleep becomes elusive, right? And, I've been looking at the freaking statistics over there in Canada of the assisted suicide, quote unquote. And it's a disaster, okay? And trust me, you're not here to, well, I don't know, make the whole situation worse, okay? The society is fragile as it is, okay? And we need to walk that narrow path, that very difficult path, okay? And we need to make decisions that, are not, I don't know, selfish in the outcome. Well, so Valium seems to be a gateway to stronger drugs. So if there is moderation of Valium in the streets, there is a leakage serious leakage of this medication. It's quite useful, but like I said, it's a double-edged sword, right? If I wasn't on cannabis, me, honestly, if I wasn't on cannabis, I would be on Valium, or I don't know, lithium, or something like that, you know? Because sometimes the OCD gets really bad, you know? Those were the days, you know, back then, you know, when I had to fight with depression and things like that, you know. But really, understanding helped me out of that hole in one way or the other, right? But it was rough, and some people might not be well equipped to go through the whole situation, the whole ordeal. So they rely on until they find the situation, right? So since then, I have evolved, you know, in one way or the other, okay? But other issues have arisen. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's just a simple example, right? Now I gotta deal with these bioweapons and that sometimes even affect my appetite, you know. So cannabis gets me there. It's a perfect. It gives me sleep, food, right? And you know, it's a good thing for me, and I think it will be a good thing for others, you know. If we really had a genuine conversation, we would agree on this situation. And most of my peers that I have talked to, they agree that, you know, these drugs that I am against personally, they are against them too. They know they are bad, you know. Like half of my friends are recovering addicts. Literally, half of my friends are recovering addicts. So you can't tell me that I don't like understand this situation. You know, where I am right now, half of my friends are recovering from Valium and other strong things. So, like, they tell me their stories and they tell me their struggles, and, you know, all one can do is understand, you know, and try to help them out of that situation, you know, and most importantly, not be strong-handed about the whole ordeal. Take pride out of it, right? Take pride out of it, right? This is the issue here, pride. So, like what is happening over there in Ghana, like it's embarrassing, you know. You can't call for this supposed African union, I don't know, if we have countries that like act like the Ghanaians do, pertaining to this issue, the leadership especially. But you know, when I say these things a long time ago, people didn't really understand what I'm talking about. But now they're slowly you're going to understand me slowly, but surely. But there's a problem up there in the north of Africa. There's a big problem. It goes beyond France. It's bigger than France. Yeah. It has everything to do with Macron, of course, but it's bigger than the French people. So we need to be really accurate on who we address pertaining to our complaints on how the world is run right now. Okay, we have to be really, really precise to address it. So the parliament over there is just embarrassing niggas. They are fighting over nonsense. They are literally fighting over sex. They are literally fighting over sex, right? I've told you in that previous video that, you know, the world's problems today can be boiled down to sex, right? How did the Nephilim get here to earth to cause trouble? Sex. What is the core reason for racism? Sex. All of these agendas, like global warming, like abortion, they're all tied to sex. Sex, sex, sex everywhere, right? This sacred thing that has now been weaponized, weaponized by the help of artists, yeah? Artists who are run by labels, yeah? And the labels, with the help of the media, pollute the audience to wanting more of what these occultists have to sell. Okay, so if we want to solve this situation, you have to have proper control over these aspects, right? The audience only consume what is put on the table, right? So if you want to fix the whole situation, you need to address the artists, we need to address the labels and what they demand of the artists, right? Because really, I've said this and I will not stop saying it, you know, art is very powerful. Art is very powerful. Okay, art is very, very powerful if used correctly. Okay, but it can also be used against humanity, right? We are seeing the impact, right, in the music and the movie industry, right? It's in the core of these world agendas, really, yeah? Like the impact of the song like We Are the World by Michael Jackson. You know how much money people made out of that song? Oh, connected to that song. How many fundraisers? It's like, you get it, right? And over here, Google is still working on Nano Gemini, the AI they call it. The Nano AI, the copy, right? They are copying something. And AI, of course, is the perfect copier if it is fed all the information, right? So, there's a slave program still running, and that slave program seems to, I don't know, insinuate that the stagnant economies or the slow progression of economies in Africa is attributed to, I don't know, the lazy nature of Africans. Africans are lazy, and it's not only here, even Africans that were taken as slaves all over the world. Okay, well, it's simple, really, right? It's about sex. How, you might ask? So let's follow the sequence of events, right? So one group intends to make the other group seem lazy, right? While the entire world has been built on the back of this supposed lazy person. The entire world feeds on this supposed lazy person. The ideas, the materials, everything is so there is benefit to them if we are quote unquote lazy. But is that the case? Are we here economically? Is this poverty and death and war? Is it all because we are lazy? Because we keep telling each other that, I don't know, we need to work harder. You know, I see politicians coming up to these stages and say, we need to work harder. It's like they're saying we need more money, we need to contribute more money so as we can do all of these things. That's exactly what you're saying. It's that old saying, you know, work smart, not hard. Okay, we have worked really, really hard. We work really hard. But what we get is it's preposterous, you know, like look at the mines over there in Congo, right? They have children mining with their hands. Okay, that's literally cutting their lifespans in half. Okay, because that poison is absorbed through the skin and it goes and it deposits itself in the liver, everywhere. And they're there with no equipment and nothing to extract these minerals so as the world can enjoy smartphones, which we are the biggest consumer anyway. Nobody's talking about that. The Chinese cannot let you know that, because then you'll figure out that you're really powerful. They rather give you fake statistics that, nah, China does not depend on Africa for its existence. Nah, it does not. It depends on Japan, or something ridiculous like that. Is this scientism that we have been talking about? So we are in a really powerful position, which also makes us a target. Okay? Because we know we are targets, right? Now we need to understand why are we targets and then learn how to protect ourselves. Like seriously. Hearing something creep. So, like I was saying, right? So the issue is not laziness, the issue is sabotage. We are being sabotaged, literally being sabotaged. Okay, we work so hard, but these people that supposedly control this so-called system, they sabotage Africa. It's out there, right? They sabotage by either psychologically fighting us, you know. If we work so hard and then we go to them to ask for, I don't know, economic classifications, I don't know, if we are lower income or upper income or whatever, or I don't know, we inquire to the people that kept us slaves. We inquire about our position so as we can be, I don't know, eligible for loans or whatever. And really, we as young people, we are done with that. You know, we are done with that. You know, I wish a nigga would threaten me, nigga. You know, with sanctions or whatever. Okay, it's not that I'm unaware of consequences. That's the illusion that, separates young people and old people when it comes to serious issues that affect the entire nations, especially here in Africa. It's like one group assumes that the other groups does not know the consequences of decisions, so they are kept from making decisions for their own, I don't know, for their own betterment or whatever justification is used. But it's obviously and it's blatant criminal activity. Why don't you call it criminal activity? Plain and simple. Okay, this is why the scripture says children, if you can't be saved if you don't think like children. You can't. A child see criminal activity, that is criminal activity. There's no gray area or nothing. Right? And the World Bank, IMF, they're all acting and doing criminal activity for a long time. But hey, we need their money, so we endure. So it's quite offensive for a leader to come out and say, especially an African leader, to say that their people are lazy and they need to work harder. All these resources, we are not even supposed to be working, and you know that. Coming back to that sabotage, it's not your fault. It's sabotage. And you need to predict the sabotage and see it coming and adjust. And of course, stop being dependent. Try to detach yourself. They will try to sabotage you, if you try to do that. That's the whole situation we are here. How do you end such an enemy? You tell me. How do you destroy such an enemy? From within. They have their goals, they have their intentions, and they're set on achieving their intentions, right? But we are still trying to even find out who is the enemy. And the war is like intense and insane, right? So it's working that narrow path, that difficult path. It's difficult because there's truth in there. That's why it's difficult. Truth. People don't like it no more. It's uncomfortable. While it's supposed to be sweet and it's supposed to incite something within you to make you feel some type of way and not be dormant just because these people phase you. Okay? Joe Biden has never produced anything. These are just leaders. Now you need to connect to the people. Leave these idiots alone. They'll be destroyed. You need to deal with the people that they're trying to convince them to pick arms against us. That's how you need to influence. Okay? So it's enough. We are making these people popular for no reason. They are evil. And that's it. We know evil. Bill Gates is evil. Full stop. We don't need to make videos and videos and videos talking about the evils of Bill Gates. Right? Don't get me wrong. Everything needs to be exposed, front and center. No stone left unturned. No stone left unturned, because why? We pursue the truth. We do not pursue people. If they're in the way of the truth, then they become the target. Okay? Have never met Apollo. I've never seen Apollo. And I don't care for Apollo, really. But I'll be on Apollo if they try to hurt the flock. I will attack, right? A shepherd does not go around looking for wolves and killing and getting rid of wolves in the entire forest. Who will look after the sheep? So you look after the sheep, the Lord will handle the wolves, like he has been doing in a spectacular manner. Right? Easily. So you need to keep your eyes on the people. Right? So now it's time we use our intelligence, our own intelligence and reasoning, not just bending over every time. Right? We are tired and angry. That's the spirit of the young people. Right? And trust me, you do not want to see it manifest. You supposed G8 leaders, you do not want to see it. Believe me. Because the day you see it, it will be over for you. And what is sad for your situation is that you're in the way of our freedom. What do you think will happen to you? You have put the entire world, I don't know, billions of people in a prison, and you are standing by the door. And you have this supposed weapon that you think will keep people away from the door and fear and respect you. Are you freaking crazy? Are you crazy? So people need to gather their courage, and especially the people in power, because most people are oblivious to these deep-rooted criminal activities that has been going on in this world. The war, the blood is disgusting, it's angering. And it's about time we get our vengeance. Okay? But getting this vengeance, we need also, it's a double-edged sword. Right? It's a double-edged sword. Nakata kuwili wanasema. We need to be sure who is innocent and who is not. And trust me, the information is out there. So, look at the oil prices. Look what these idiots are doing. Like, they really, really believe that, I don't know, they're serving some cause or whatever. What cause is that anyway? There's something wrong with these people. Okay, and most of you, I don't know, some of you even might even think that I'm speculating that they're not even human. But really, let's examine. Let's examine their goals. Let's examine their goals. Yes, they are beautiful and shiny, but how are they going to accomplish them? That's the question. How? Because it's for them sure, the people sitting in COP28, they are not going near a mine, or they are not getting their hands dirty. In lithium mines. No, they are not. So people need to figure out what is going on, and they really need to fight the enemy, not each other. Fight the enemy, not each other. We have our differences, but those can be settled. But you need to fight the people that even keep us away from even finding that peace, that settlement in the first place. And the truth is the way. The truth is the way. The truth is the way, and nothing else. Okay, so I've been giving you the complete truth, the dirty, the good, yeah, the clean, the things that you don't want to hear, all of it. It's the truth. It's just that. Yeah. Now look at this situation in Venezuela, which the Russos are perpetuating, using, trying to attack Guyana somewhere. And if you look at those people over there, they are descendants of Africans, but they are living in some forests. And the thing is, they are not talking about it. It's this fear, it's this fear. It's like the situation is like the devil is here on earth, and he looks like a white man. So he hides behind white people. So Africa over here, most of us anyway, keep yelling, white people, white people, white people, white. No, it's not about white people. It's about these demons that look like white people. And these people who betray the entirety of humanity by their own decisions. They make decisions every day that makes life harder, 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 and they can 100% make it way, way easier than it actually can be, or one might assume it can be. But they are not doing it because they are out for blood. So if you think they're out for blood, you won't think that this is some economic situation. How does death equal money? Maybe if you are running a morgue or a funeral home, but that's about it. The business of death is the devil. That's the only being that hates humanity, to want it to die. So get that through your skull. Yeah? We need to put that together. Okay? Talking about fighting the real target. Yeah? Don't get me wrong, as I've said, there are people that are helping these demons. They become demons themselves. You're in agreement to demons. What do you think you are? You're a demon also. Because when judgment comes, you'll be judged to go to hell. So why shouldn't we treat you as one here on earth? Because you have chosen to act like that, right? You have chosen to act like that, yet you claim you have free will. So you're using your free will to kill people. So what are we supposed to do with you? What am I supposed to do with you? I'm a shepherd, I have an iron rod. I'll use it. That's what's going to happen. So we should stop being nice and be truthful, not vicious, truthful. Okay, there's a difference. They're even running operations over there on YouTube, right? They have these former news people that are supposedly now running private companies, and they are truthers now. Well, if they are doing their best, then kudos to them, but it does not change the fact that there is levels to suppression that people are not even aware of. And if people knew about these ways, they will be extremely, extremely angered, right? So as long as they pit us against each other, people thinking that the employees over there in Google are responsible for the mess that is. No, it's the top people over there in Google. Who are they and who are they connected to? Right? Simple. It's the leaders. They have been doing it. We should be doing it because it is effective. Right? So if you want to change, I don't know, international relations, then you change the people that are responsible for shepherding these relationships. Right? That's why I say it's a leadership problem. They have control over the police, the army. That's it. That's about the only thing they need. Right? That's about the only thing they need to cause havoc all over the world. But just imagine if Ukraine, if Russia, people say, you know what, we are tired of killing people. How about you go and do it? Okay? Wanting life is not a bad thing. Okay? Wanting life and preserving life is not a bad thing, and we need to learn that. Okay? You as soldiers, I think you need to remind yourself not just to shoot, but not when not to shoot. You know? And if you do not know the difference, then we are in for trouble. So the mess is here because everything is being turned around and being revealed for what it is. Right? So we shall fight. We shall fight. You shall fight. You have no other option but to fight. Or you risk becoming a demon. Okay, like that is any better. Right? But now, people keep reporting, people keep charging their weapons, and they keep fighting, obviously, stupid wars for these people. Now we need to take the armies away from them and put them in the center. So you have a problem with Africa, go over there in Africa and say some shit. How about that? But now, they rather send a general an obedient idiot. Okay? Obedience is not blindness, people. Do not confuse the two. And if you really want to be responsible, then we need to take responsibility. Right? Put them guns down. And let's talk about how did this whole situation escalate to this station. And I trust me, you'll find the devil over there. You will find the devil over there. But as long as it remains political, or I don't know, military strategy, then it can be justified. Anything can be justified in that sense. So that's a sure way to really put a stop. Take the police, take the army, take the intelligence. Then it will be revealed to you who is the tool. Because people just don't wake up and think about killing people. Like these people are trying to convince us, like these supposed school shooters or whatever. Like, trust me, I don't know nobody who has been to school for all the years in their lives and have not been upset with a teacher or instructor or a worker over there in school. Some of them have fought, but not, it has never reached the point where just people take guns and just shoot randomly at everybody. And people might say, oh, they have access to these weapons, that's why they're doing this and this. No, that's not true. There's something seriously wrong with society today, and we need to figure it out. What is it? Now, I might be ahead of the curve and say the devil is the problem, but you have to slowly get there by understanding. So I pray. I play by the rules. I talk about politics, I talk about science. And look. Now the whole situation, now they can make money online. They are raising prices of everything, video games, movie subscriptions, just problems everywhere. But that is just culminating to a single pinnacle of this is the access. They will have to, everything else will be free, but they will charge you to access it. Right? They will charge you to access, like a pump, right? A pump that its filter does not dry up, right? But you just gotta pay a certain amount, and then they can cut you off, suspend everything, because it's the type of people they are. Like, hasn't humanity paid these supposed internet suppliers their money back? Are you telling me they haven't made their money back? Are you for real? Now all of you come with your own perspective on that question. Some of you have a scientific answer. Some of you have a, I don't know, a financial mindset. Some of you have a politic-oriented answer. But is it the truth? That's the question. That's why I'm here. Right? That's why I'm here. Because I fight for truth. I don't fight for anything else but that. I laid down my life for that. The truth. Because I know in its absence, there is a lot of suffering and death, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So we have to think like that. All of us have to think like that. But if everyone is selfish in their own little box, making their own little lives without understanding that we are all in a big ass box that these people have control over, we won't even try to find our way out of this box to actually true freedom that we have never known. We have never known, not we as Africans, but the entire world has never known freedom. Right? So I fight the truth about what is happening over there in Ireland. Yeah, they double down on the whole situation and just make it worse. Because it's the truth. It's the truth. I don't like deceivers. Terrible. Terrible. So let's finish up. Now look at this. They want to use AI to predict the weather, just like how they predicted death during the pandemic. They said that we simulate, just like the wife of Bill Gates. We see a lot of death. The audacity of these people. The audacity. Right? This guy is playing both sides, but he gave like really good answers to the stupidity and the craziness of these fanatics, extremists even. Yeah, they are climate extremists because they are calling for people to stop using oil, but they're not really talking to the people. They're talking to the producers without even, they don't care about the consequences of their decisions. They don't. They don't care about how it is going to affect the poor. They don't care. Now, this is the type of leaders that people have supposedly chosen to represent their interests in these supposed climate summits. Like, are we serious? Like, are we really looking for change like this? People are not serious. That's why I said we have to conquer. There's no other way. We have to conquer. We have to. All over. Even these Arabs have made our situation worse. So they can come here with Muslim solidarity nonsense. They can't. And they shouldn't. Even to you, Muslims, they shouldn't. These people are not your brothers. They're not. They're a plague on earth. And they should know so. And they should know that their silence actually helps these people do this evil and perpetuate this death. So they need to rise up. Or else they will suffer, because they will become demons. Because seeing a problem and doing nothing about it makes you an accomplice to that situation. So Europeans, Americanos, you need to wake up. If you don't, if you don't, the conquering will not be pretty. It will not, because they will fight back. And this tree-hugging kumbaya will not save you. So if they are going after your children, you better be ready to punch a nigga in the face area. Hard. But all you do is, I don't know, parent-teacher meetings. What? Do you know what Jesus calmly said to the people that would touch children? He said, they'll be better off if they drown. Okay? They'll be better off if they drown. Okay? So that particular part of Jesus is inside me. And that is what is called war. Right? Last time he came in a donkey, meek, humble, and hardworking. Yeah? But this time he's going to come as a horse with a big sword. So you better carry your own sword. And do not take stupidity for anything. I don't know if you understand me or... Hey. You need to fight. You need to fight, just like I am fighting. Right? I'm just telling you what to expect. That's why I share to you what they are doing to me, because I want you to expect the same thing, not to fear and to act with caution. No, time for caution has passed. Okay, time for caution has passed. We know the enemy, we follow the enemy, we execute the enemy. Game over. No debates, no meetings, no nothing. What? Do you think Bill Gates deserves a trial? Some people do, apparently. I don't know. But trust me, it won't go that way. Because why? They made that system. So if you are working for these people in Bill Gates Foundation, just quit. Just quit. Leave Miranda and Bill Gates to come and give us our GMO seeds over here in Africa, and to see what's going to happen to them. Now look at these idiots are trying to blame this potato like he knows up from down. He knows nothing. He's literally a puppet. Huh? People like Boris Johnson cannot run the world. They cannot run the world. They are not runners of the world. He's just a puppet. A stooge. A criminal, yes, but a stooge. So the real question is, we should be asking this idiot, who told you to comply? With those demands placed upon you by the supposed World Health Organization, that you even went too far as to mandate mandate things which are practically illegal. You shut down businesses without even compensation, because those measures are your responsibility. If not for those measures, those businesses would exist. But what? You say, the World Organization told us this. Right? This is what even these teachers out there are teaching kids. This is the syllabus. The syllabus says we need to teach this 4-year-old that they can switch genders. And you want me to take these people to trial? Are you kidding me? How bad does it need to get for you to do something? I need you to get angry. Because that's exactly what God feels when he sees this mess keep going on. How do you feel? What do you think the writer of the scripture feels when an idiot says, my son is no longer a boy? He's a girl. What? That's not your property. They treat their children like slaves because they are slaves. They themselves, subconsciously or consciously. Either way, how they act in the outwards is the same. So the question is, where did the pandemic come from? They should stop distracting you, English people, men. You should be asking yourself, where the hell did COVID come from? That should be on your focus, not the measures. You're talking about the past. You're trying to, like, what? You know better right now. You had your time to say no, you didn't. But we are trying to keep these things from happening again, okay? And the only thing to keep it from happening again is to ask the questions. Where do these supposedly pandemics come from? And the answers they give you, you should examine it, right? They are saying this disease X. They keep talking about this supposed disease X. And they say, this disease X is gonna come from melting ice. Some ice is gonna melt and it's gonna release some pathogens that were trapped in the ice over there for thousands of years. And are you going to let that excuse fly? So you do not have the expertise to examine these pathogens and know if they are man-made or natural. You have no ability, right? They're just saying that you're stupid and you'll take their words for it. Are you stupid, English people? Are you stupid? So ask the questions. Just do that. Ask the questions. Plain and simple. For the sake of your children and for the sake of the entire world, you need to ask your question. You need to ask questions. Hmm? Hmm? And in this piece, you know the explanation they give for in this piece. They say it's definitely Russian actors, but it's impossible to connect the evidence in the cybercrime to these people. So how the hell do you even establish the connection? Or do they leave their language in there or some? Like, this is the idiocracy that we are talking about. So before you know it, poor farmers over there in Britain are called into war to go to fight with poor farmers in Russia. Like they had to do anything with the cyber situation. This is the craziness that I'm talking about. Hmm? Look at this. Look at this. And still, do you think this will fly? In a country like our own, here in Tanzania. That you made an error with drones. How do you make an error with all this technology that we have today? An armed drone. So you can't even say you are training. You can't say you are training. It was armed. I know there's live fire, but live fire comes later on, right? So people in Nigeria need to really ask themselves, what the hell is going on in our country? Or else, yeah. Look at this. This is how they manipulate the market. Who caused the cost of living crisis? Criminals caused this living crisis. Basically just making people's lives harder and harder and harder and more dependent on the governments and the systems that they can manipulate because they are not wealthy. Because they're not wealthy. So if they're not wealthy, they cannot make wealthy people. So it's just a cycle of poverty. And how do they know what people eat in their homes? How? This is that fake science that we'll be talking about. But they're using this fake science as some kind of, I don't know, proof that what they're claiming is true, so they can manipulate the market for peas and avocado to their convenience. So how do you detach yourself from this system? How? People now are starting to talk. For America, this should be the topic number one. For every American, this should be topic number one. People should be asking questions about what happened this day. Because trust me, there are questions, man. A lot of questions. Thousands. This is The Economist. And it's basically, it says a rough map to hell or rough road to hell, something like that. I don't remember. But hey, let's digest this piece of art here. And they did this in 2012 or 2018, I don't know, but it's long ago, right? So here we have the devil, and the devil has this control module for this train here, right? This control module basically controls the train. It's this tiny train, that like those that children play with, right? So it is controlled through this module, and the panel is named climate change, right? So that is the control of chaos, right? So we have India and China using coal. Like coal is the problem. Coal has never been the problem, right? Never, ever been the problem. Of course, we have devils in pitchforks. Of course, we have the sex situation getting people into trouble, right? And of course, up here we have Hamas and Israel in paragliders. Now people ask themselves, how did they know that they would use this weapon to attack? Well, it was planned. It was planned because they all have red devil paragliders, right? And of course, they have gluttony oil over there. Wall Street, America in shambles, Rome in shambles. And of course, we have Tralak opening his mouth and being fed souls. And of course we have hackers, eh? And of course they are next to supposedly X Factor, a distraction. While everything is going bad, they're distracting people with X Factor and talent shows, entertaining the fools. The Euro in shambles, Obama out here on his little motorboat. It's a joke to these people. Human life is a joke to these people. They make it about Gaddafi or Kim Jong-un or these people. It makes it about them. It's not about them. They do not die. Innocent people die. So why shouldn't you be angry that these people are treating you like this? That's my quarrel. The past civilization. You can see Traloc here, yeah? The thing is melted. Talking about past technologies, yeah? But Traloc, in Mexico. How can this guy control the spread of a virus of a nation? How? So it's obviously a scapegoat, and people are actually accepting this nonsense and going along with this nonsense, that somehow this guy had power over the pandemic to put a stop to it, to put a stop to literally a microscopic thing, to block a microscopic thing from killing people. This is what the inquiry is about. This is what the inquiry is about. That this guy let the virus spread. More of that nonsense. They're still trying to convince you that space is real by using friendly faces. You never know, they might use the Pope next time. The Pope might walk on the moon. You never know. He might go for a moonwalk. Pope Francis going for a moonwalk. Or he'll go to Mars and baptize aliens over there. What? Look at this nonsense. Let me tell you something, Let me tell you what they're saying. Potentially, do you see every dot of light over there? That's a potential solar system. So how massive is this thing, right? And how can this supposedly telescope see these things, all of them, as they have presented them here? This is a lie. This is a lie. And you need to get smart, like real quick. Oh, look at this. Now they're adapting. They're changing. Yeah. Jomba. Okay. Look at this. So they have another angle. So if they're not gonna fight for the abolition of cannabis, then they're going to change the genetics of the plant to make it basically useless. They can make it that these fabrics become weaker and basically impractical by just modifying the plant. Right? Look at this. At one point, if a person said this in a channel, that there is something here, what would society say? No, you're a conspiracy theorist. Look at this. Look at this. Just a day or hours after I just done blown up their whole situation about their deception. Now they're saying, they're changing the rules. They're saying now that all of these private companies that have collected these supposedly extraterrestrial specimen should, I don't know, surrender all of those evidence, and they're trying to pretend like they're doing it for the public, for the taxpayer. They're collecting alien evidence for taxpayers, because these people have used the taxpayers' money to do all of this alien aircraft back engineering and stuff like that. This is where we are. This is the madness that we are dealing with. Right? So we went from Tom Hanks, who has nothing to do with science, talking about the moon and how spectacular it is, and how the James Telescope somehow saw 750 galaxies beyond the observable universe. It's freaking the and then that switched to this one, and then now we are here. Is it gonna get worse? Yes, it's gonna get worse. It's a war. So you better listen to what I'm saying. Eh? Look at this. Talk about splicing machine and human, right? Clay and iron, they will not cleave to each other. Iron and clay will not cleave to each other. The Neuralink by Elon Musk will not go the way it is, quote unquote, intended to go. It will backfire spectacularly. So you go and go and cover up your scar and see what happens. Right? How can you disrespect a temple of God like that and expect nothing to happen to you? Sheesh. Look at this. They are trying to clean up house now, right? Because they know that their hope is over. Now they're trying to clean up house. And the whole situation, basically, the FDA just denies responsibility. Meanwhile, taking responsibility. This double speak keeps the argument sterile. It keeps the argument on a stalemate. That's the word I was looking for. On a stalemate, and then they rise up another issue, people move on. Yeah, you have seen how crazy these past have been, right? Look at this. Talk about spies in the 94. Ooh, they're even spies now. Look at that. They are trying to literally fuse iron to clay. They are trying to make this cleave each other. How? How? It will not cleave each other. It has been written. So there's nothing they can do to change the fact. Like they can do anything to change the fact that the whole world will not be filled with water. So I didn't talk about nothing about, I don't know, the piezoelectricity, because I have kept that. Okay, I have kept that. I'll talk about that in the next video, right? I'll talk about that in the next video, where we go into, I don't know, a deep dive into this, the happenings of the supposed UFO phenomenon. Okay, what has actually occurred and what has transpired in this conspiracy against humanity. So yeah, General Easy, I love you. Bye.